Hello, I'm Robert, and you're welcome here at my busy little shop. On today's episode of What's on My Workbench, I've got a new tool that I wanted to share with you. I purchased this in Prescott at the Southwest Leatherworkers Trade Show, and I didn't lump it in with my other video because I felt like this one needed a little bit more explanation, and I'll turn the camera around here and we'll go over all that. I'm glad you're in the shop here with me today. So we're going to talk about knives for a moment. I've used this Stanley 299 non-retractable utility knife for a long time. And I'm going to tell you that if you're looking for a dependable knife to use for leather making that is easy to use, easy to keep sharp, you can replace the blade when you need to, then there's nothing wrong with the Stanley 299. And it is not going to go away from my workbench. I've been using this, like I said, for years. A knife like this is what Chuck Dorsett uses on his channel. I think his is retractable. But my point of this is you don't need to go spend a bunch of money to buy a knife. So I used this for a long time, and I purchased then a couple of years ago, I purchased this blade here from Maker's Leather Supply. It was, oddly enough, it was at the Prescott Leather Show. And this is a fairly inexpensive skiving knife that I purchased from Aaron Heiser himself. And I've used it quite a bit. I've used it very little though for skiving. A lot of times I'll use it to tip up and make just a quick cut on the end of a strap, or chisel around a little bit of what's there. And it's been a great knife. And I think it was less than 40 bucks. So for a couple of years, I've been contemplating the knife that's in here, and I didn't necessarily contemplate the company that I purchased it from. It was just the idea of branching out into something else. There are some things about it that I've tested them at various shows and events, and I do like how they work. I do think that it's going to be a new learned skill here as well, but let me open it up. Enough teasing here, and I'll show you what I've got here. So this is a custom knife, and I bought this from Sean Woodsum at the Prescott Leather Show, and he's from Arizona. He's just north of Prescott, an hour north of there, and I talked to him at length about the process in making the knives, and he's the guy that makes it himself. And I've got a little bit of blacksmith background. I don't believe he did this as a blacksmith item, and what I mean by that is if you're in the knives, he did a stock removal, I think, to make this knife. But I do believe it's a pretty knife here. And so once again, it's going to take a little bit of training and finesse to learn how to use it. Now, he makes a bunch of different types of knives. He makes what he calls pull knives and push knives that are much like this other knife here, except for it'll have an angled blade on it. You would hold it like this and use it to push or turn around and pull. He's got a bunch of different knives that he custom makes according to what people are looking for. And he's not churning out, hundreds of these knives. He makes, a few of them at a time. So here's his information. If anybody's looking for it, I'll give you a moment there. And I met with him in the booth there, and he had a bunch of knives set out there, and they are sharp. They're a quality knife. They've got a good edge on them. I've talked to a few other people about the quality of the edge, and it seems to be, the right thing. So hopefully I didn't make a huge mistake. I don't think I did. The little bit of playing with it that I've done, I do like it. And this is, he refers to this as his Mod 2 a round head knife. And the steel is 52-100 is the steel, and the handle is a rosewood, and it's got I know, what's this got to do with leatherwork, but it's got a really beautiful pin here that he's used to pin this all together. And he talked about the tempering of it, and he goes through, a lot to get the knife the way it was. And it's just amazing to me. He had a table set up there with leather, and it cuts really nice. So let me grab a piece of leather here, and we'll do a little bit of cutting with it, and we'll go from there. This is some, I think it's about a 3 ounce, and it's an oil tan. And so for long cuts, the way he's designed this, the way he envisions this being used is for long cuts to use the long side of the blade, holding it much like this and pushing away with it. And anybody that's that uses a head knife, knows that it cuts really nicely and how to use that. The other side here, I'll just make another cut here, and I'm probably pushing down harder than I need to make the cut, which then makes it drag more in the cutting board than the leather. So it's an extremely sharp knife, and I'll let you guys know when I punish myself the first time, if you know what I mean by that. So one of the areas here that he talks about with the idea of this shape is to hold the knife like this, and in doing so, this blade is more vertical here, and the idea is that you can make tighter turns with the knife here. Then it's easier to do with the head knife the other way here. Let's see if I can keep from bleeding here on TV or on your phone, wherever you're watching me today. And so I think it's really hard to do that with the utility knife. I suppose if I turned it way up like this, I could do that, but I don't have a lot of control. So when you tip it down here and you make this cut like this around here, it tends to cut this at an angle here instead of it being more vertical like I'm doing here when I'm cutting it. And I think if I had a cutting surface that was a little bit harder, because I know I'm digging into this cutting board a lot more than I need to, which makes it harder than it needs to. But I'm able to get a more vertical cut here as a result of the geometry of this shape here. So like I said, it's probably going to take some getting used to. I'm sure it'll take more than some getting used to use the knife and to use it effectively. But I thought it was time to upgrade my skiving knife a little bit here. And let me set up here with some thicker leather and get rid of my cutting board. I'll skive on this countertop here. This is some very hard, it was like 16-ounce leather here. I've been using it for quite a while here to punch against. So the leather itself is pretty dried out and hard. But you can see here, it's very sharp. So I'll have to practice some here with using this to where I get, more effective at it. And so I don't hurt myself on my videos. But it's very sharp. It feels like a quality knife to me. I guess, time will tell. And like I said, I think he does, really beautiful work here. Maybe you can see a little bit better here. And I did not get a discount. I told him I was going to show this to my subscribers, and there's no discount here. He had a fundraiser selling some raffle tickets. And I went ahead and purchased a couple raffle tickets from him. So Crosswinds Forge, you can find, he's got online presence, and you can see the knives like this and some others there as well. And I've cut leather this thick with my utility knife, but it's multiple passes. And when you have more knife in the leather, it's easier to cut a straight edge. So that was some of my my reasoning for making the purchase. So there you go. Some of my earlier videos, I had people talk about my utility knife, I'm still gonna say, don't let the price of tools cause you not to get in the hobby. I've got close to 300 videos, and the utility knife was used on every project in those videos. So the utility knife will do it. This is me splurging to get something that I don't know, I've been looking at, and who knows, maybe I'll get down the road here a couple months, I'm like, that was the silliest $250 I've spent. But I hope not, and I hope that it continues to be the quality knife. Once again, here's the information on it. And then here is information on it here. And he talks a little bit about the care on it. It is a high carbon steel. It's not a stainless steel blade. So, it is easier to rust than, some items are. I hope you liked today's video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, have a great day.